Also with the enterprise version, there are some enterprise features. Now, again, this has nothing to do with the enterprise version. You deploy it on proprietary platforms. With scalability, high availability, the Alfresco community version is not designed to be a bulletproof 24/7 uptime, highly available solution. It can be made to work, but it will require some tests. It will require some attention. The enterprise version comes with an out-of-the-box, very simple clustering technology, allowing people to have the confidence with mission-critical systems using the enterprise version. And again, a lot of the things that we have inside enterprise, for example, system monitoring, it's about administration, making administration easier for live production solutions. Multi-tenancy support, we're moving more into having a whole load of certified extensions. The library is quite basic at the moment. We have a connector for Kofax, a certified connector from Alfresco, and these kind of connectors they come with the enterprise version. Enterprise customers can download these extensions, no problem at all, but they don't work. They're not available to community customers. And obviously the support and maintenance. I mean, one fundamental point between the community versions and the enterprise versions is that Alfresco does not support, nor Alfresco partners in any shape or form, the community version. So it really is, it's use at your own risk. The enterprise version, we've got a vast network of partners all over the world, all providing support services, and we have obviously a fairly substantial team of support engineers in the UK, in the US, and also soon in Australia, giving us not just a 24/7 sort of mobile phone number if there's a problem, but a true 24/7 with back-to-back call centres all over the world. So I mean, really, why pay? There's a free version and there's a pay version, so it's a fundamental question we have to ask ourselves. But really, this is just a summary of what we bring to the table, and this again goes back to, I won't read this slide, but it goes back to the point in the very beginning, is that Alfresco's business model is based on adding value to a product. True, the enterprise version of the product is not available freely for download. That is a version which we only give to our paying customers, because we have obviously put vast resources and effort into testing and making sure the quality of our software. So it's something which we believe that should only be for customers who are subscribing customers. But we try to basically put a lot of value around the support. We're not charging, there's no product licenses. People who take Alfresco, they are acquiring a services contract. They're not acquiring product licenses. So it's really all about support. It's about giving people really good documentation, extra, apart from all the legal side, the indemnifications, the guarantees, the warranties, release from the GPL license. Going back to the point before, if you're an integrator and you want to sell a product, the enterprise version is not bound by the GPL license. It is a commercial license, and we can come to agreements with partners, for example, for OEM arrangements, where product companies incorporate Alfresco technology and then resell it, even as a software license. But it's a commercial license. There's no limit. There's no restrictions with regards to GPL on the enterprise versions. Alfresco takes all the responsibility for all of the code, because Alfresco does have some open source components built into the product. We take care of all the concerns around the licensing, and the customer is protected from anything surrounding potential GPL infringements. This is probably more of an issue in the US, but it's more and more going to, I believe, spread everywhere in people respecting the GPL license totally. People have an idea of the pricing. We've got really an entry point which makes it possible for departmental, medium-sized companies, small companies, say less than 50 users, 20 user firms. Alfresco really isn't a very suitable product for departments in large companies, and for medium-sized companies, and obviously for very large companies and governments at all pretty much all levels. Yeah, Alfresco's got an offer. We can, the entry-level price is, let's take a scenario, say 100 concurrent users, which actually isn't that, it's actually not that small a solution. But say between 50 and 100 concurrent users, you can deploy that kind of a system on a single CPU box, which has up to 4 cores. So we license by physical core. Again, and it's got the CPUs for testing, CPUs for development. That's a price of 16,000, approximately 16,125 euros a year for a 3-year contract. If it's a 1-year contract, it's a 17,500. It's a little bit more. But that can basically, you can, let's say, acquire the solution and acquire a partner with their expertise, with the support of Alfresco, with all of the guarantees for 17,000 a year. If after year 2 you don't like Alfresco, then it's your choice. You say no, see you later, and you've essentially got a pretty good system in all regards, implemented for a very, very low cost. Our model is that we have long-term engagements with customers. More and more we're doing multi-year contracts, 3-year, 5-year contracts with customers. And we do try to make we have some mechanisms to offer some discounts around multi-year contracts. But this is kind of like the entry level for 1 CPU, simple systems. Then we have configurations for high availability, so if people can have clusters of servers together, enabling you to have session failover, login failover, balancing of the servers, and more in government and in private organisations we're doing site licensing options. So many customers, I'm not sure if Rui is going to be talking about Extremadura potentially, maybe a little bit. It's an example of a government where they've already got like 4 or 5 Alfrescos installed in different areas. And one of the big contracts Alfresco signed in Spain very early on was in the Junta de Andalucía, where there was so many different Alfrescos that a whole strategy was put together to agree a site licensing. And now these organisations can have unlimited use of Alfresco throughout their organisation in and all the data centres with unlimited CPUs, hardware, total flexibility for deployment at a reasonable price which is fixed and it's understood. It includes all the software. So there's lots of different things that we can do, but the major point is that we go from being a good entry-level offer for medium departmental solutions, but then we have very attractive pricing which scales up to large organisations and governments.